notification that this hearing is being recorded in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law and broadcast over the Lunenburg Public Access. I'd like to introduce you to the board members. To my left is Lisa Normandin, our board secretary. I'm Alfred Gravel. This is James Bezikowski, Hans Winthrop, Patrick Callahan, and Tony Nicastro. The way the hearing will proceed is Lisa will read the application and any other submitted communications. The applicant or his representative will have the opportunity for comments on the application or submissions of additional documents. You will please come forward to the mic and give your name and address. Board members will have the opportunity to ask questions that they might have while the applicant is at the mic. There will be a public comment period if there's people from the public, and if they are, please come forward to the mic, give your name and address all comments and questions to the board. This hearing is for a special permit to vary dimensional requirements, so there are certain findings beyond the certain special permit, which are: the permit may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without nullifying or substantially degrading from the intent and purpose of the bylaw. The specific site is an appropriate location for such building or alteration. The proposed building or alteration is compatible with the existing neighborhood regard to size, location, and architecture. The granting of the special permit will not adversely affect the neighborhood. The granting of the special permit will not unreasonably diminish the available light, air, sunlight, and other amenities. There will be no nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians. Finally, the board may impose any conditions deemed necessary to achieve the purpose of the bylaw. And with that, I would ask Lisa to please read the application.
This is an application for a special permit, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, Zoning Board of Appeals. The name and address of the applicants are John and Kathy Beal, 116 Island Road in Lunenburg. The undersigned hereby makes application as follows. The applicant is seeking petitioning for a special permit pursuant to Section 258.3B2D of the bylaw to vary dimensional requirements. Specifically, the applicant is seeking to vary the required front yard setback as required in Section 255.2A1 of the zoning bylaw. The proposed action has not begun. The basis of this application is found in the following section of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw. 258.3B2D. The street address is 12 Horizon Island Road, assessors map 24, parcel 22. Name and address of legal title to the deed, which the land is the subject of this case, is John and Kathy Beal, 116 Island Road in Lunenburg. And the deed is recorded in Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, Book 8525, page 85, and recorded March 24th, 2016. If the undersigned has any knowledge of a prior appeal, application, or petition concerning the land or building involved in this case, describe the case and the dates involved. The special permit was granted by the Board of Appeals for an accessory apartment in a decision dated August 6, 2006. See attached section 5.0. The special permit questions have been answered as follows. Oh, and the application was signed and dated January 14th by John and Kathy Beal. The subject property is located at 12 Horizon Island Road, which is shown on Assessors Map 24, parcel 22. The property is located on the southwesterly corner of Horizon Island Road, 0.59 acres of land. The lot contains an existing 3-bedroom dwelling. The site is currently serviced by municipal water and has an on-site sewage disposal system. The entire property is located within the Residence A zoning district. The existing dwelling is located 20.2 feet from Horizon Island Road. As such, the existing structure is considered pre-existing non-conforming. The structure complies with all other dimensional zoning requirements. A variance was granted by the Lunenburg Zoning Board of Appeals on August 6, 2006 to allow for an accessory use apartment. The special permit is recorded in the Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, Book 6206, page 341, and is also attached in Section 5.0 for your convenience. The proposed conditions. The application is proposing modifications to the existing dwelling in the addition of an additional garage bay and workshop area. Additionally, the applicant is proposing to construct a porch on the front of the house and to expand the deck on the southerly side of the house. The applicant is seeking relief from the following bylaw sections. Setbacks in yards, 255.2A1. In all districts, no building shall be constructed nearer to the exterior line of any street than 40 feet. Proposed garage shop addition. The proposed offset to the sideline of the street is 21.2 feet. The relief sought is 18.8 feet. As mentioned above, the existing structure is set back 20.2 feet from the street line. As such, the proposed garage shop addition will be no more non-conforming than the existing condition. Proposed deck and porch and deck. The proposed offset to the sideline of the street is 12.9 feet. The relief sought is 27.1 feet. Special permit criteria. A, will the proposed action be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic congestion, danger of fire or explosion or other reasons? The proposed use of the property is the same as the existing use. As such, the proposed action will not be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous, as it will not add additional traffic. It does not constitute a new danger of fire or explosion. Will this action have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings in the neighborhood or on the amenities of the neighborhood? The improvements will increase the assessed value of the property and also the market value of the property. As such, we expect the proposed addition to have a positive effect on land values in the neighborhood. If the proposed action will be operated with reasonable regard for order and sight lines if an open use. The proposed use will remain the same. The applicant has hired Ron Albert, AIA, to design the proposed addition to ensure the proposed addition fits in with the character of the neighborhood. Architectural plans are included in section 6.0. Will the proposed action produce noise, vibration, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines in amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of adjacent property? The proposed modifications have been designed in such a way that will be aesthetically pleasing and will not be detrimental to the adjacent properties. Section 8.3, relative to special permits for dimensional variation of the protective bylaw, states the following. The Board of Appeals may grant a special permit to vary dimensional requirements upon its determination that the exception will not create undesirable conditions caused by overshadowing or loss of privacy, that access to utility and public services will be adequate and within the standards listed below. Dimensional requirements may be excluded by special permits so as to conform to the average height, setbacks, or other relevant dimensions of existing principal buildings fronting on the same street or within 500 feet of the premises. Number 1, standards. In granting the special permit, the board shall find that the permit may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent and purpose of this bylaw. 254.2B, 254.5C, 254.6C, and subsection B of this section, and shall find that A, the specific site is an appropriate location for such a building or alteration. B, the proposed building or alteration is compatible with the existing neighborhood with regard to size, location, and architecture. C, the granting of the special permit will not adversely affect the neighborhood. D, the granting of the special permit will not unreasonably diminish the available light, air, sunlight, and other amenities, and there will be no nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians. The following is a brief description of the proposed project with respect to the criteria listed above. The specific site is an appropriate location for such building or alteration. The applicant is proposing to modify an existing dwelling. As the proposed use of the property will remain the same, there will not be a detrimental impact to the neighborhood. The modifications to the dwelling will not result in intensification of use, as it will remain a single-family dwelling. The proposed building or alteration is compatible with the existing neighborhood with regard to size, location, and architecture. The proposed dwelling will fit in with the architectural character of the neighborhood. The proposed use will be identical to the existing one and harmonious with other uses in the neighborhood. Architectural plans are included in section 6 of this application package. The granting of a special permit will not adversely affect the neighborhood. The proposed modifications have been designed to fit in with the existing character of the neighborhood. There will be no adverse impacts on property values or public health and safety. The granting of the special permit will not unreasonably diminish the available light, air, sunlight, and other amenities. The proposed addition has been designed in a manner that will not unreasonably diminish light, air, or sunlight. The resulting structure is in keeping with other sized structures in the neighborhood. There are no significant trees in the area of the proposed addition, so the tree canopy in the area will remain substantially unchanged. The applicant is intending to relocate the driveway to improve the entrance grades, which will require the removal of a pine tree. There will be no nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians. As mentioned above, the application is proposing to relocate the driveway as depicted on the site plans. This will improve access to the property and create a shallower driveway grade from the street to the garage. There is also an authorization letter to the Zoning Board of Appeals. The purpose of this letter is to provide written authorization to allow staff of Dillon Roy Civil Design Group to represent the project at 12 Horizon Island Road. And that's respectfully submitted by John and Kathy Beal. And there is an abutters list. There is a copy of the deed, and there is a copy of the former granting, which, would you like me to read that, Mr. Chairman?
I don't think you have to read it. No.
Okay, and then we have the architectural plans and the site plan. And that's all. Oh, I'm sorry. I did get a letter from the building inspector to Alfred Gravel, Chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I have reviewed the application and have the following comments. The property in question is parcel ID 2422, listed as 12 Horizon Island Road. It is in the Residence A zoning district. The building is currently being used as a single-family home. The proposed work is to extend the existing garage space and build a new front porch on the existing house. The submitted site plan shows a distance of 21.2 feet to the front yard setback for the garage addition and 12.9 feet for the porch. These both require 40-foot front yard setback distance, and therefore would require 18.8 feet of relief for the garage and 27.1 feet of relief for the porch to be granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals under Section 258.3B2D. The rear yard setback and side setbacks do not appear to need any relief. And that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Okay, and with that, I would invite the applicant or his representative to the mic.
Thank you, members of the board. I'm Greg Roy with Dillon Roy, and I'm representing John and Kathy Beal, who are also with me this evening. And I always forget when I don't come before you frequently enough that you read that entire thing. So I apologize that I'm so wordy on those, but I try to give you the information you need to make a decision.
Okay, I have one question before we start, just to clear up. On that previous variance that was granted for the accessory apartment,
Yes, sir.
and it had the life estate attached to it, has that gone away now?
That has,
That's completely
yeah.
gone away?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so now we're reverting back to going to be an owner-occupied, no accessory housing. Okay, so that second kitchen has been taken out as it was? Yes. Okay, very good. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I'll be very brief. I'll just give you I'll put a picture in front of you so you can see put legs on what we just read. This is the site plan that was submitted. I'm going to flip it over because I blew it up so you could see this a little bit easier. So blowing it up on that section. That's what I'm going to color it in. So the existing house is shown in orange, and the deck, elevated deck, is also shown in orange on the Hickory Hills Lake side of the property, with the stairs going down. The brown shaded areas are the proposed additions to the property. So the proposed garage and shop addition will be the larger addition on the northerly side towards Island Road. And I don't know if you can see it, but the black dimension that I've put there is the existing dimension to the existing house to the property line, which is 20.2 feet. And you can see I've listed the two closest points to the new addition, which would be 21.7 and 21.2 respectively. So the closest point for the new garage shop addition would be 21.2 feet, as Lisa read a little earlier. And then on the southerly front side of the house, we are proposing a porch area and a extension to the deck to wrap around to connect to that porch. The closest point to the property would then be 12.9 feet to the porch. So the porch dimensions are 8 feet out from the house by, I think it's about 24 or 26 feet. I can't remember, but I think I included that on the architectural plan. So, so I just wanted to point out to you that that's really the only, the porch is the only structure that's proposed that would have more of a nonconformance on the lot than is there existing. The primary, I'll call it permanent. The porch will be put on sonotube foundation, much like a deck, just framed in with a roof above it. But the permanent foundation portion, the significant portion we're proposing this evening, would be slightly more compliant actually than the existing condition. As mentioned, we also have architectural plans. And these were prepared by Ron Albert, and you can see we've given you the floor plans of the proposed addition, and also a few elevations there, so you can see how the architecture will flow. They're really just planning to give this look and feel of a two-car, I guess a cape would be the right architectural style. And the proposed shop addition there, all the way, this is in the top right corner. The proposed shop addition would be to the right of the proposed garage there. So, and then you can see the porch, which would have a hip roof, and you can see that it's proposed to be on a sonotube type foundation. I think that's all. I'm happy to take any questions that you folks may have.
Okay, thank you. Just a quick question on the porch. That's a screened-in porch. How do you access that porch?
There will be a door from the inside. Are you going to access it from the driveway too? Go inside from the kitchen, and then also we propose to extend that deck. There will be an interior door, but then we'd also extend that deck so there'll be access onto the deck.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is just because that does become more non-conforming. Is there the exact reason for why it has to be on that side, not the other side of the house, where I think you've got about 30 feet, and it would actually not even need any relief?
I think it's the answer there is just because of it works with the floor plan of the house. The kitchen is on that side of the house. What's on the back of the house, Kathy?
There's a small bedroom.
Could you please come up and state your name and address? And
John Beal, 116 Island Road. The back side of the house is a lot of trees there. There's privacy that the trees give us in between Crappy, who's our neighbor, and us. And I can't grow grass back there. It's very shady, dank, dark. It's just not the same character.
it would change the, okay. Because I was going to say there is adequate room back there. And I looked at it from the lake.
Well, he's talking about from zones. Right.
Yeah, zoning. Okay, so basically it really is the way you're accessing the deck that needs to be on that side. Okay. Thank you. And if I read it right, it remains a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom home.
Yes, sir.
I think I saw like a bunk room, but that's not really.
I think they're doing
Yeah.
interior modifications to the inside of the house as part of the project that would, so the net result will still be a 3-bedroom house.
Okay, Thank you. With that, I'd like to open it up to the board for any questions that they may have.
My question, looking at it today, where you have your proposed garage, you seem to have to go quite a ways up. Is that part above the garage and the workshop? That little, it's like a berm that goes around from the lakeside all the way over to the street side? Is that a new wall?
Yes,
That's
sir.
going to be created, a retaining wall, because you have to build back, and you said there were no trees that were coming down, but other than one, but there's a ton of trees in that area, I thought.
I don't know. Did I speak on that? John, you want to?
Right.
There are trees back there. When we talked to Courtney, he actually identified the trees that are going to come down, and I think there's two, what do you call it, splits, and there's another one, so there's probably about 3 or 4 oaks that are going to have to come down.
Have you,
Yeah.
have you contacted Hickory Hills Association? Because I know they have a very strict
Yeah, I've done that before.
regulatory process for taking down any trees or anything, especially close to the water like that.
Good question. I've actually gone through that process twice before. The property, when I bought it in 2006, was absolutely overloaded with oak trees, and they were falling on the house. I literally had 2 trees fall on the house, so I had them come in and thin. So you're right, when we push it back, we're going to be poking our nose into the woods, and we're going to pull some more trees down. We've gone through that process twice before. They're outside the 100-foot perimeter around the lake. Slow, and then, I don't,
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, they know they need to go to Hickory Hills. They just thought the first stop was sort of your board, because
Yeah.
if
And I think possibly they'll have to go to
we
conservation.
do, we've already filed, actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Other questions from the board?
I just had, Mr. Chairman, I had a question. So that proposed porch that you're gonna have out there, what's the width of that going out from, is that 5 feet, 6 feet?
Oh, from the house?
Yeah.
8 feet.
8 feet, is that what you have on
Yeah,
here?
that's
Okay.
what we're proposing. It's 8 by 23 and a half.
Yeah. And then the other question, I think, Mr. Chairman, you answered it. I was reading back at the notes 16 years ago, and the accessory unit downstairs is gone, so that's a non-issue.
Right. Okay. Any other questions, Alan? Patrick, any questions, or Tony?
No questions, Mr. Chairman. I'm here.
Okay, if there are no other questions, I don't think I have any more either. I have a couple, but I'm not gonna get into them. I think you've explained them in some other areas, so if there is no other questions, I will actually ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we grant the special permit as requested for the 3 different modifications to the property.
Okay, for the dimensional requirements, as shown on the plan.
Are there two?
There are 2, and actually I'm adding in case it's necessary for the front porch.
If I could just explain one thing I wanted to mention. I broke those out, the porch and the addition, because there was so much different. I didn't want
Right.
to ask for a 12.9 carpet, because that might be construed by somebody to allow the main addition to go at 12.9 off, and that's not what we're proposing, so that's why I
Right.
structured them that.
Yeah, I kind of knew that's why you had broke it out. That is a significant
Yeah.
change.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion to grant, a second to the motion, so I'll call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
And I say aye. So with that, the special permit for dimensional requirements is granted. I do have a post-decision instructions I have to read. The special permit is granted with the contingency that the petitioner complies with all licenses, regulations, statutes, ordinances of any and all applicable local, state, and federal boards or agencies with jurisdiction over the premises. The special permit is subject to a periodic review by the permit granting authority or the enforcement officer to ensure compliance with conditions. Non-compliance to such conditions may result in a revocation of this permit. A copy of the board's decision shall be filed with the town clerk within 14 days. Any party aggrieved by the board's decision may appeal to the Superior Court 20 days after the decision is filed with the town clerk. After certification by the town clerk that 20 days have elapsed since the decision was filed, you should have it recorded in the Registry of Deeds. No special permit shall take effect until it has been recorded. The special permit shall lapse within 2 years unless substantial use or construction has commenced. And with that, we wish good luck with your new home, I guess.
Good luck.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Do you want these extra copies?
You want
I
me?
really don't need them.
No, she said she doesn't.
There's a recycle here.
No permanent recycle. If you look, we've got 2 more hearings coming up.
Look how good I am, I brought it tonight.
Yeah.
Perfect.
223, how good is that?
Sick of taping anymore.
Motion to adjourn?
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. With that, this hearing is over.
Gee, I wish you guys wouldn't drag it out. So I did what she said. I went to my friend, I get certificate, but I haven't seen, you know.